Welcome to Marquee Backstage. I'm Julie Milam here at Thunder Sound Studios. This week we're bringing you music that crosses all borders and barriers. There is nothing like it. Give it up. This is HuDost.
I heard about this thing called Rumi Festival, which I thought was going to be like an academic, scholastic festival about the poet Rumi. And I drove for about 19 hours with some friends from Montreal all the way down to North Carolina, and arrived and discovered that it was not an academic festival whatsoever, but more a crazy party for 3 days thrown by Turkish Sufis. And I stumbled into the main hall, and across the room from me was this man playing drums, and I locked eyes with him and had this weird feeling, and then everything developed from there.
And she started singing and doing these crazy undulating vocal sounds that cut through on top of everything, and I was like, who is that freak?
From that point on, we then just started to slowly collaborate with each other. We lived far apart, so it was kind of, at first, I went down to Florida at one point, and we started, where he lived at the time, and we started working together, and then, of course, fell in love, which changed everything, and then kind of started traveling together. I dragged him up to Montreal for several years while I did my undergraduate, and he did his degree in sound engineering, and then we started to tour full-time in 2006. HuDost actually means like who is the breath. It's almost like the Turkish Om, and we were kind of saluting how we met and a lot of my actual like musical training and stuff too. But it's like the Turkish Om, and then Dost is the true friend. So it's the true friend of that seed sound, the greater source and breath of everything.
Which totally embodies the two of
you. It's kind of like Namaste, but in a more...
It's more like Namaste, y'all. The rest of my training is actually more like Eastern European and Western Middle Eastern singing. And so it totally impacts what we do. And so we do really a fusion of styles. And then he has a completely different musical background.
Yeah, I grew up playing punk rock music.
You'd think we'd be either completely incompatible or that we'd be a really interesting complementary thing. And that's what it is. It has this interesting sort of almost polarity dynamic that can actually create something interesting that happens between what we do. We've done a lot in terms of helping with sustainable electricity in these places, which makes it so that clinics and educational centers and dangerous areas of urban places can have street lamps and